Hello folks, my name's David Edgar. I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, joining you today to discuss Rangers' 2-0 victory over St Mirren in Paisley. Effortless, wasn't it? Never in doubt. A bit of a struggle, but we got there in the end up. Dreadful day for football. The weather conditions in the west of Scotland are pretty appalling, and swirling wind, driving rain, etc., did make the game a little bit of a lottery. But that said, Rangers didn't play well in the first half at all. In fact, St Mirren had the best chances, forcing two great saves from Alan McGregor, and had one right on half time where the chap put it into Edwards, I think, put it into the side netting when he might have done a little bit better. Rangers again struggled against the packed defence, didn't have much in the way of attacking intent, didn't have anybody who was really on form today. We'd made some changes. Alan McGregor obviously came back into the side, Eros Grezda, Andy Halliday went to left back in place of John Flanagan after his horror show against Kilmarnock. In came Ryan Jack and Ovia Jaria into the midfield, and we just couldn't get anything going again. And it was all the things that we've come to know when Rangers aren't playing well, which is taking too many touches, turning back a lot, not wanting to play the killer ball, not making the right decisions, not getting the weight pass right, you name it, we were doing it. And with really only an Ovia Jaria shot that Anton Ferdinand blocked, and I think the keeper might have got to anyway to show for our first half efforts. And at half time, I think there was a lot of worry that we'd seen this movie recently far too often. But Rangers did come out the second half and showed a lot more attacking intent. They had the wind behind them, and it did help. I know that, we're Scottish, you've got to be able to play in that, and that's true, but it's a factor. I remember Jose Mourinho talking years ago. He says, you guys never talk about the biggest weather problem in your country. It's not rain, it's not snow. We get that in other countries. It's the wind, because it makes it a bit of a lottery. But Rangers, at least with the advantage of it, began to dominate territorially and then started to make chances. Eros Grezda hit the post with a nice turn inside and shot just before he was replaced. And it's funny because after complaining that the manager makes his subs too late, we were thinking maybe he'd made it a bit too early because Rangers had finally asserted a little bit of dominance. But such is the life of a football fan. We reserve the right to change our opinions week to week. And on came Daniel Candeias, which would prove important. After getting us back to dominant position in the match, Rangers continued to hem St Mirren in, and then came a chance which I did worry was going to reflect the whole day for us, which was an Arthur Montford style Stramash. That's one for younger bears. When we got the ball into the box, Alfie played it back to the on-rushing Scott Arfield didn't make a clean contact with the ball all day, and this was no exception. He got it past the goalkeeper, but it was cleared off the line. Then it fell to Ovia Jaria, who managed to get a shot away, and it was blocked on the line, with St Mirren hurtling themselves about like Iron Man on crack to try and avoid it going into the back of the net. It was great last-ditch defending from them, to be fair, and it ended with Ryan Jack curling one past the post, and you just thought, oh, if there's a gif of the last 2 weeks for us, that was it. And Rangers seemed to kind of lose their way a little bit. And around 75 minutes, it looked pretty desperate. Andy Halliday got involved with a St Mirren player over a nothing incident. And I worried that it was going to be what we saw on Wednesday, which when Rangers really just threw away the last 15 minutes. When we could have scored, we just lost our discipline and allowed ourselves to fall into the pit of feeling sorry for ourselves. And I did worry that was going to happen, and it may have. But then Daniel Candeias scored a worldie, or maybe a fluke, when he got the ball out on the right wing, looked up to see who was in the box, and then either curled a wonderful unstoppable shot into the top corner or overhit a cross, which no matter the end result was the same, and by Christ did we need it. And we weren't alone in going nuts. Daniel Candeias ran into the crowd and got booked, which will become important in a few minutes, because Rangers then, I thought, looked very comfortable, and I was very pleased actually that we didn't panic, and our game management was good. We had St Mirren down in their own half, which is of course where we want them, and from that Alfie did that thing he does so well, which is gets the ball on the byline, beats his man, looks up even though he's at a tight angle, sees there's nobody there and thinks what the hell, and smashes it beyond the goalkeeper for 2-0. Job done, everyone delighted, because St Mirren are not a good side, and that's not being derogatory to them. They've got 1 point out of the last 30. They're not a good side. Yes, they got a draw against Celtic, but that had to be a fluke. it had to be a one-off. Their form suggests that. You cannot then turn around and say, well, okay, but they got a draw against Celtic. Everybody else has beat them like a drum, but they got a draw against Celtic. It's not good enough. And we needed 3 points. No other result would have been acceptable today. And I think you saw that in the manager's reaction to the goal, to Daniel Candeias' goal, that he knows how big that is. The words turning point will hopefully be appended to this game in the future, but you can't tell when a turning point has happened until much later, but hopefully it will be, because we really desperately had to get 3 points there. And we also got a suspension because we got a red card in the last minute. When Daniel Candeias was booked, it was difficult to see why. Willie Collum had chose to show him a second yellow card, but then it looks as though he's been having a bit of verbals with Anton Ferdinand. He blows him a kiss as he runs to celebrate. Then running back, Craig Sampson, the St Mirren goalkeeper, comes up to him and they have a wee word. There's nothing in it. Wry smile from Craig Sampson. He's, the game's gone kind of thing. Daniel Candeias walks away. Anton Ferdinand goes up to him, sort of pulls on him. Nothing serious there either. Candeias turns around to the ref and says, look, what's going on here? And Willie Collum, who hasn't seen the incident, books both of them because he assumes something has happened. It's dreadful refereeing. It's the kind of officious wee dick that Willie Collum is, that he doesn't have the common sense to even go, do you know what, it's the 93rd minute, quick word with the two of them and I'll let them go. No, he's got to be the centre of attention. He's got to be the school teacher, and he sends off Daniel Candeias. It's a shocking decision. He didn't know what had happened. He invented something. He just assumed something had happened, and Rangers have got to call this out. He shouldn't be refereeing in the Premier League next week. He should be in the third division for that. It was an atrocious decision. And the stats have come out this week that Rangers receive on average a booking after every 4.5 fouls. Compare that with another Glasgow team who it takes 9.5 fouls for. And don't tell me that's a coincidence, because I won't believe you. So where are we? Well, we go to Moscow on Thursday night, and I actually expect the team to play a lot better, simply because I think in Europe they don't feel the same pressure, because we can play the way that teams play against us. We will be able to sit in and try and hit on the break. So I'm not saying we will definitely get something there, but we're more than capable of it, and our European form has of course been terrific this season. I'll be back here to discuss the game after it happens, 6 o'clock, remember, on Thursday, so make your plans accordingly to get home in time to watch the match if you're not heading to Russia, as a few of our podders are. And if you want to hear more from us, I'll be back on Monday with Heart and Hand Rangers podcast. You'll get it free from wherever you download your podcast. And if you want a little bit more from us, and why wouldn't you, we do up to 5 shows per day on our Patreon site, patreon.com/Heart and Hand. I'm actually off to just go and do our phone-in show when we'll be discussing with the Bears today's performance. So if you want to go and have a look at that, it's just $1.99 per month, and you'll get it at patreon.com/Heart and Hand. And with Christmas coming up, why not buy some Heart and Hand branded tat? You can get a load of shite with our logo on it at heartandhand.co.uk. Enough shilling. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers. Bye.